Shaky Graves plays a cross between blues, folk, and rock and roll. And he'll open up the show tonight at Crossroads. He's down the hallway in Studio A with Jon Hart live here on the bridge.
You know, I believe when I was researching this interview that every interview that I saw with you started with the same question. That question is, what do I call you? Because you're Shaky Graves, you're also Alejandro Rose Garcia, and you always sort of just let them do whatever they want to do. You never really give an answer.
It's true, yeah. I respond to a lot of things.
I do know that generally speaking, Shaky wears a hat.
Sometimes, yeah.
And you're wearing a hat, so I'm thinking that I'm talking to Shaky.
I think so, yeah. Well, I don't know if it's gone as far to where like Shaky does things without Alejandro agreeing to it or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, the concept of having a name in the first place was just to not drag my life into my work all the time, I guess.
You know, I guess the reason that it's a bigger thing to me now than it was even a year ago is we had Father John Misty in. And when I talked to him, you know, his character is, you know, fairly snarky and sarcastic. And I would ask him a question. And afterwards, I realized that, you know, the struggle that I was seeing on his face was, do I answer this as Father John Misty? Do I answer this as Josh Tillman?
Right.
You know, so, but with you, I feel like it's you come from a theatrical family, so it's kind of a theatrical construct and maybe not a split personality.
No. Yeah. I don't think I ever have really any trouble answering from point of views, I guess. I think the benefit of having a project name or anything like that is just it gives me a little more versatility in what I want to write about. I don't feel compelled to specifically write songs about my own life and experiences and stuff. And I mean, lots of people who go by their names write about outside things. Like Elliott Smith, you know, wrote about a lot of just fictional characters and stuff. But people always assumed that he was talking about himself. I was like, you must be so bummed out. I heard that song that you wrote about heroin. He's like, no, it wasn't. It was a thing. I was talking about a thing. You know, so when I talk about, you know, having murdered my wife and being electrocuted already at this point in my life, I'm pretty sure that we figured out that has not happened to me as of late.
It does seem that Shaky may be a little bit darker than Alejandro.
You never know, right? I hope so.
Now I'm suddenly afraid. I've never been afraid before in this setting.
I'm just wearing a black shirt, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah. You were a little inspired by Jeff Buckley to find that alias.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I heard a really funny story with him where I think it was right after Grace had come out and he had been used to playing, you know, small rooms and coffee shops, and then it was like a big series of events happened where his father died, and then he sang at his father's funeral, and a lot of people didn't even know that he sang. And it was one of these, like, oh my God, there's another Buckley around. Oh my God, this is amazing. And he, you know, put out that incredible album, and then it sort of ramped up really fast, and he went on I got to look this up again because I'm still flying on this story that I read in like 2004. Yeah. But he did a tour or a series of shows where he would go and play coffee shops and always play under a different name. And so he made up, there was this just like ridiculous list of silly names that he had come up with. And his whole thing was that the song and the voice shouldn't really matter what it's called, you know? It could be called like Fart Apartment Building or something, and people would be like, I do like that Fart Apartment Building song. It's a good one. So that was kind of part of the goal, was to, just initially it didn't start with me sitting and wearing suspenders and stuff and banging on luggage, because that would have been a little more obvious that, oh, that must be Shaky Graves. But originally it was just me recording on a 4-track, so I had lots of voices and you know, I would take huge liberties with how I record stuff, and I wanted people to have an air of mystery. Like, is this like 8 girls, or is this one person, or, you know, not knowing much. And I put out a lack of information on the internet, and it was sort of that blend that I wanted to create. Shaky Graves.
And it actually came about with you and your friends around a campfire, and most of your friends walked away with new band names too, although they didn't, you know, follow up on it.
No, yeah, they don't really live their lives through those names. But there's There's an infamous one named Droopy Wieners that I still get. Yeah, I get that yelled at me a lot at shows. People won't let it die. It's a hit. Droopy Wieners is kind of the man.
Did it make you second guess that you're Shaky Graves? Because if that one has more weight, is it too late to change?
Droopy Wieners does have more weight. That's funny.
I wanted to just say, normally I say this kind of thing at the beginning of the interview, but man, congratulations on the record And the War Came. I mean,
Thanks.
That worked so well. You just had to be floored by it.
Yeah, it was a really weird experience too. It's like things are just sort of different these days, I guess, as far as music is concerned. And I think anybody that like plays music has at least a glimpse of that thought. That's like, oh, it'd be so cool to be on a label with Rihanna or something, and be like, yeah, that's my CD over there at Best Buy or whatever, like huge.
Yeah.
But that's that's not really something that I deep down want. But this putting out an album like full scale, kind of semi worldwide, was as close as I've ever gotten, and it was really strange. But I loved every minute of it. But I was used to making stuff in my house and then like throwing it on the internet and just being like, run, child, run free, do your thing, go.
And it's like here you're having all this success, and part of this album, correct me if I'm wrong, you recorded in your backyard.
I did,
Yeah.
I did. Yeah, I recorded most of it in my house, yeah. And so there was still that level of, even as big and shiny as it got, it was just a fancier version of an album made in my house, which, still beckons the question of like, have I actually done all my studio stuff yet? Because every once in a while in Nashville, I get to go to one of those big rooms that like Elvis commissioned to store his orchestras and stuff like that, and be like, well, what if we did something here and did the Beach Boys thing and brought in farm animals? And I don't know. There's lots of recording to be had and scale that I haven't even considered. But yeah, that was as big as it's ever been for me. So it was very strange.
Shaky Graves is our guest and is playing tonight at Crossroads KC with Dr. Dog. We'd love to hear some music if we could.
I'm going to start with a song that is off of the first record that I put out from my house.
Tasted sweet when I was the bad twin devil himself sat waving me by. All of my tattoos, they were of no use, no monetary values have I. Ooh, won't be long till I belong. Showboat in my window tells me tomorrow. Me no tornado carries me off, pulls me from bed and bashes my head in and buries me halfway across the globe. But oh, well, it won't be long till I belong. Without all of the so unlucky skin. like coffin. Let all the bugs in. It's my wooden home. My wooden home. Yeah, my wooden home. Yeah, oh, my wooden home. Where I go. Won't be long till I belong. Oh, without all of this sure unlucky skin. Yeah, won't be long till I belong. Without all of this sure.
Shaky Graves this morning on the bridge, and of course Shaky Graves playing tonight at Crossroads KC with Dr. Dog. The latest album, And the War Came. You've been playing with a band today. It's the One Man Band.
Indeed.
And that sort of grew out of the first record that you did.
Oh, God, sorry about that.
It's like a rim shot. It was, if only what I'd said
Never
was funny.
touch stuff. Yeah.
It could have been the rim shot. Roll the Bones.
Yeah.
When you recorded that, you did it on your own in, real DIY fashion, layered a lot of sounds, and then it's like, it's just you.
Yeah.
How do you get those songs across live? You didn't have a drum kit. You didn't have a car.
No.
So how do you make those sounds when you go to play that live?
Magic.
Yeah.
I mean, the song I just played is a good example where when I recorded that, it was originally on banjo, and I was not a banjo player, and I recorded that like little lick thing, and then basically could never play it again. So it took me like a year before I could actually play and sing that at the same time because it's kind of in an off-kilter rhythm, and so stuff like that took me some songs took me a long time to figure out how to physically play, sing, and then do percussion. And believe it or not, playing percussion while singing and playing guitar is easier than not sometimes for me now. And I think it's maybe sort of like old kung fu style, where I had heard that the reason that you shout when people do kung fu is to kind of over process your brain, so your muscles are trying to, like when you extend your arm, there's muscles that keep you from snapping your arm clean off, and also keep it going that way. So when you yell, it confuses those, so you exert more force than you typically could. So I sort of believe if I try and do things with all my limbs at the same time, they'll do things better than if I'm trying to direct them actually.
Shaky Graves, kung fu musician.
Kung fu wisdom. Thank you.
Wow.
I also don't know kung fu, so don't quote me. Some guys out there are like, no, that's just so not true.
I don't think that, you're probably doing a better job than the old 70s TV show.
Maybe. Maybe.
And along the way to make those songs come across, you invented the suitcase drum.
Yeah.
Do you have you should have some kind of a marketing arrangement with Samsonite.
I know. I've never explored that. I always talk about it. I'm like, well, Samsonite, you can give me some suitcases or something. I mean, this is the fourth one of these, I think, that we've made.
So, okay, there's been a chronology. The first one was yellow. The second one was blue.
That's right.
Third one, red.
Yeah, third
So
one was little red. This is the big red one.
So we got big red today.
Yeah. This one's like heavy duty, like ready to go to battle. This guy's the real thing.
You know, did you like go on eBay looking for the color that you wanted? How do you find old Samsonite luggage?
It all kind of shows up sometimes. I bought like a set of these. I have a lot of the little makeup cases that come with these too, you know. And I used to in the olden days of Shaky Graves, I used to have just a little like a honeytone amp, and I would put it inside of the little makeup case and then stick a mic in that and be like, please, you know, I hope this works, and play live sort of that way, which was absolute insanity. Not a good idea, but sounded kind of cool. So I've tried to use, I had a concept at some point where I was like, everything will be luggage. The drum will be luggage. The amplifier will be luggage. It's all luggage. And then
your banjo's a carry-on.
I know. I sort of let that go. Okay, well, you don't like luggage that much anyway.
You know, you came from the theater world. Both your folks were in the theater, and you were acting in commercials by the time you were 13.
Yeah, the deeply satisfying world of commercial acting. Yes.
Yeah. When you were 12, you had a girlfriend that was 13, and she dissed you. She stepped out. She was like messing around on the side down in Mexico with some kid, and you decided that you had to have a plan to get her back.
Yeah, it's funny. I've told this story a lot, but I've never had someone tell it back to me like this before.
Yeah.
It's really funny to hear. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this 13-year-old was messing around on me in Mexico when I was 12. Yeah, my first girlfriend ever, who I was, you know, obviously destined to marry, because that's how things work out in the real
And
world.
by the way, I'll bet she's really sorry now.
No, she's cool. She's pretty good. I think I see her every once in a while, like, and she's like, cool. Yeah, I'm a cool person. I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, I came up with a genius concept to, because she loved guitar players, and I was convinced that I was completely unmusical. And my mom had a guitar in the house, and I didn't know what to do with little heartbreak me. And it was also one of those really smart teenage or young preteen concepts where I had found out through her best friend, but her best friend found out through reading an email that she wasn't supposed to read. So she told me that someone had told her that this thing had happened, but I couldn't tell anyone because it would ruin their friendship. And I was like, I got it, no problem. So I was like harboring this news that I should have just been like, no, that's a terrible thing. I'm going to confront this. But I sat around for, 2 months listening to rap music and lifting like 7-pound weights, just going like, because I couldn't listen to anything with any like emotion in it. That was sort of I wanted a barrier, and radio rap music at the time was totally doing it for me. I was like, this is great. It was a song called Wobble Wobble by like Jay Tweezy or something that I would listen to all the time. And then the guitar revenge concept came to me, and I pulled this guitar out and started trying to go at it, and my mom heard me, and that great parenting moment where you hear your child like touching a piano or something. It's like, do you want lessons? Are you playing music? Are you doing something active? And she ran in and got really excited, and I was like, sure. And so took lessons for a few months, and then when I was first able to play like an A chord, like A minor, and then go to C, like the minor fall major lift bit, it was a shocking moment for me. It was like the simplest little bit of magic that you could play a sad chord and then play a happy chord, and I would just kind of go back and forth between those for a while. And it gave me little did I realize I tricked myself into having an outlet for my undefined emotions at that point.
So, the rap music didn't really, you're not doing rap. And
Not yet,
and you're
no,
not, you're in good shape, but you're not a bodybuilder.
Yeah,
And the girl didn't stick around, but you kept the guitar.
I did. That was the thing that made it out. Yeah.
So around this time, your mom clearly is encouraging you. You're clearly struggling a little bit around that age, and you've been doing the acting. And so your mom decided that she would agree to move to L.A. if you'd get serious about acting. So you moved to L.A. and got serious about music.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, at this point, looking back on it, life is just a series of agreeing to move forward, I suppose, and having a goal. But that it often hasn't turned out that what I want is what I get. It's more that, like, what's waiting for me is what I get, And then the stuff that I've learned along the way really kind of reinforces life as it goes. Because I mean, I'd always acted because I loved performance. I've always really genuinely loved performance and theaters and stages and, like, even rooms like this. It's like the smell and the lighting and it's just got a certain thing that's my place. I really enjoy even the behind the scenes aspects of it. If I was running a camera or anything like that, I would be happier than most people, I think. Gaff tape is like I love gaff tape. We're constantly fighting over it. We have gaff tape somewhere, right? Yeah, okay, cool. And but going out there was originally to sort of I was being kind of delinquent-y in high school, and not being delinquent-y, but I was being a 16-year-old boy and running around with my friends and being stupid and getting in trouble. And there was just one of those moments where she's like, "Do you want to keep getting in trouble, or do you want to, like, go chase the dream with your mom?" And I was like, "Oh, let's chase the dream with the mom. That sounds pretty valiant." And so we did. And then
And it wasn't like you went out there and just sort of ditched the acting thing, but I thought the one choice you made that was really interesting was, if you're going to go out, if you're going to do the acting, you don't want to have a safety net, because then the safety net becomes the thing.
Right.
So instead of going out and getting a job waiting tables and being that guy, you started working on music, and music just kind of naturally took over.
Yeah, it also made me feel like an absolutely crazy person. But that was something that was, my mother's been in the arts, or my family have been in the arts for a long time, and I have no idea how they make money. I don't know what. It's like a Magic Beans family where we get by miraculously. But she's always encouraged me to just, there's no reason that you can't make money off of something that you create. You don't have to make art because it makes you happy and then seek your income elsewhere. It's about not tricking people, but learning how to have people enjoy paying for something that you provide. That's kind of the dream of it, And the fun part about Los Angeles is that it is crazy, and the industry is so surreal, acting and stuff, and just the film industry, and it's all very glitzy, and that sort of mirage of fame like never goes away. It's very exciting to be out there. Or it's like being in Nashville when you play music, where it's like, there's music everywhere. There's people with guitars and tour buses, and it's just, wow, it's like, wow, look at that. Well, George, wow, it's like, it's the same thing. It's a hub. And but the sad thing about going out and putting yourself forward as an actor is that you really don't have any creative control, or not any, but even the sheer concept of acting is that you're praised on not being yourself. It's like, wow, you really didn't seem like you. That was great. Here's an Academy Award. And then in music, it's usually the exact opposite, is that someone is praised on bearing their soul and really being themselves in public, kind of naked in a sort. And that eventually sort of became the fork in the river for me. And not like you ever get to choose, like, not acting anymore, don't worry about that. It's like, that door is just a door. It's not open or shut. I don't even know if it has a door on it. It's a frame. It's like, it's a breezy place. But I just chose to put my energy in towards the thing that I like waking up and doing every day.
We'd love to hear another song if we could.
Well, I don't do that anymore. So back to acting. I came here to tell you guys that. I'm out of here.
Shaky Graves is in our studio this morning, and of course at Crossroads KC tonight, along with Dr. Dog, and the new album is called And the War Came, switching guitars, and we'll have some more music here in just a moment with Shaky Graves.
keeps decent time. Though my ears may be weak and my eyes may be all but blind, well, I still have sense enough to feel that I'm not much without you near. Well, I've paid my dues, loved one or two, but still it keeps boiling down to you. So choose to be my victory or vice, 'cause either way I still want you here tonight. Heaven knows it's hard to find another. Oh, and hell knows it's got a home for folks like me. Well, but there will come a day, yes, there will come a day, when the earth will cease to spin, the earth will cease to spin, and you'll hold me close and say, oh my God, where have you been? Well, I've been around old Chinatown, happily lost, but oh so easily found, counting the stars upon the hill, neath some old moon on my tomb. I'll see you soon.
Shaky Graves in our studios today at the Bridge, and of course at Crossroads KC tonight with Dr. Dog. So, yeah, the door is open. You actually sort of moved back home after
I did,
a while, and it was after you moved back home. You got a 4-episode stint on Friday Night Lights.
Oh,
Is that right?
no.
No.
Yeah, well, sort of. The universe kept doing the deal where it would be, I'd be in Los Angeles and I'd be like hunting a job super duper hard, and then get worn out and be like, I'm gonna go home for a little bit and go back to Austin, and then I would, as soon as I'd land in Austin, I'd go to a single audition in Austin and then get it.
Yeah.
And be like, why is, it used to really confuse me, and then it was like, I realized I was getting better at stuff. So, whoops.
Yeah.
But it's those moments in where it doesn't feel like you're learning anything, and you just realize that you're in you're in a bigger pond. It's like I was fighting twice as hard, and then I went back home, and that's my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And all the stuff that I had learned from, like high altitude, high pressure audition training just helped me so much walking into a room that I had been going into since I was like 6 years old. And be like, oh, hi, it's me. Like, oh, hey, you want to read this? I was like, read. I'm like, well, come on and get in this thing with us. And
Yeah.
that's how it would go.
A lot of people, love your portrayal in that show, which is, to me, it's like you're playing the other guy in Mexico.
Yeah,
right?
I don't
You're the
think a lot of
cad.
people love I play a gross, like, sweaty musician, which is, like, not far off, I guess. But anyone that's like, I loved your character, I'm like, you're lying to me. You're absolutely lying to me.
The one that I really am jealous of, though, is you got to get killed by Marv in Sin City
I
2.
did.
You know?
I did. Those are the features of being an Austin actor, is that you get to work with Robert Rodriguez, and the odds of being killed when you work with Robert Rodriguez are pretty high, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you start to have all this success, and then weird things start to happen. And I just would love to have you tell the story about going to the Newport Folk Festival and ending up on a yacht.
Oh, wow, yeah, that was weird. Well, I went to Newport Folk Festival, ended up on a yacht.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
That's crazy. We went to Newport's a really strange festival, and I think it's happening like right now, or it's about to any day. And so we went to Newport, and the whole festival wraps up before sunset. It's like really early in the day, ends at like 7. And we had played, and we had to play an after show, because that's another part of the Newport experience, is that they have all these after shows in theaters in the town. And the actual festival is in a fort that's maybe a half a mile from the town, but there's one road that goes to it. So everybody that's leaving Newport Folk Festival is just crammed in this small Rhode Island road, And so we're like, I don't think we're going to make it to our show. We don't. How are we going to get our gear there? And the people that ran the festival were like, oh, well, we'll take you on the helicopter. I'm like, you guys have a helicopter? And they're like, no. That's what we call our boat. We have a boat that we call the helicopter. I'm like, just call it a boat then. And we end up finally going. They're like, there's a couple other people, and we get on the boat, and it's just us and Dinosaur Jr.
Which is funny enough.
Yeah, on the boat, and Jay Mascis from Dinosaur Jr. is this very like dry cartoon character of a music legend, and he just is like sitting there rocking back and forth, and the other two guys are real uppity, and we kind of don't know where to stand or what to say to Dinosaur Jr. Like, hey man, you guys shred. And they're like, thanks, what? And we're waiting on 2 other people, and we kind of wait, and it feels a little bit longer, and then the 2 people end up showing up, and it's Francis McDormand gets on the boat, and we're like, hi, Francis McDormand. And then Joel Cohen gets on the boat. He's like, okay, well, that's the whole thing. And we take off, and it's just the strangest 15-minute yacht ride of Francis McDormand trying to start conversations with Jay Mascis, and him kind of being totally put off by her in a certain way, because she's just exactly what she seems like. She's like, well, hi, what are you doing? Do you play guitar? And he's like, yeah, I do. And then we talked to Joel Cohen for a little while, and it was so crazy because you try not to just gush on someone that you respect. Like, hey, man, I like all your movies. I want to know, what are you doing right now? Who chooses the music? I love your baby. Did you write this? Is your brother? That's like Big Lebowski. I'm like, well, it's really fun. Bowling. I love you. And we did sort of that, and then got off the yacht.
So then there was another part to the story that you told, but I couldn't tell when I was reading it if it happened on the yacht or later or whatever. But this was the 50th anniversary of Dylan going electric.
Yeah.
And you had a moment with his guitar.
Oh, yeah. They let you play the, oh, God, how much was it? It was like $950,000 guitar.
$965,000.
$965,000 guitar. They had it just in a room, and you can go and play it. My drummer went and played Van Halen on it for a while. It was like, that's good. I'm really glad you did that. So, Dylan went electric, and then 50 years later, that same guitar got some Van Halen played on it.
Yeah, that's impressive. Now, that was your drummer playing it, but your guitar player was off.
Oh yeah, he was in a porta potty, so we came back.
So he
out.
missed Dylan's guitar.
He did. Like he wanted to play it so bad too, and we came back like, oh man, where have you been? He's like, I'm in the porta potty. I was like, well, they took it back into its golden case and shipped it off to some beautiful place with us. Sorry, I guess you don't get to play Dylan's guitar.
The album And the War Came. It's been a couple of years, and so we're anxiously awaiting new music. And you talked about how you wanted the next album to be a real statement in previous interviews, and then today you were invoking, I believe, Big Rooms, Elvis, Beach Boys, and Farm Animals. So, do you really have a plan for the next one?
I do. Yeah. I think you just said it. No, it's we had a really, really wonderful experience this year where I had met Amy Helm at a festival. Amy Helm is Levon Helm's daughter, and she plays amazing music. And
She's been a part of Ola Bell.
yeah,
And has done some really great solo stuff and teamed up with a lot of people. Too.
yeah, and she's a spectacular person too, just as lovely as they come. And we talked at a festival, and she was like, "I really liked your set," and we were trying to come up with places to record. And I've always really enjoyed, recording at my house or whatever, but specifically recording in unique spaces, not just going to some studio because it's nice, but like taking over a house somewhere, or using it as a unique recording outside, or using natural stuff to make sounds and making it sound like it's just as easy as it comes. And then if you really peeled the top layer off, it's like, yeah, well, the reason we got that bizarre reverb thing is because my guitar player was in a dumpster outside, that sort of thing. And what happened was she asked if we had ever gone to a midnight ramble, and I hadn't, because Levon had passed away by the time I became a big Levon fan. And so she invited us out to the barn. So we went to Woodstock for 10 days and set up shop in Levon Helms' barn. And it was like the most magical, inspiring, like, oh, if you guys need anything, there's that microphone is like more expensive than everything you have. And then up there's a floor tom Ringo Starr gave us, or if you want to use it, it's up there somewhere. And
and of course you're
that's the
ready to reciprocate, just to be kind. So anytime they need some Samsonite, you're there.
I tell you, yeah, man, you need me to turn luggage into stuff for you, because we just begun. I could probably get a microwave in one of these things if you really needed me to.
We'd love to hear one more song.
Sure, yeah.
Could. While he's switching guitars, we'll mention, of course, Dr. Dog is going to be on the bill tonight with Shaky Graves at Crossroads KC. They're going to be in our studios as well here in a few minutes. Shaky Graves live on the bridge.
Oh, man, it is so fun to play with Dr. Dog. It's also very daunting because they're incredible. I guess I'll go ahead and try and play, why not? Play a song that we're working on.
When an hour more sleep about your family and friends and let them know you're the best. We'll tattoo a radical right across your chest. No need for a lover, you were born to impress. Everybody always told me if I made a funny face, you would stay. So you better get hip and take a liking to me looking this way. Well, everybody always told me if I made a funny face, you would stay. So you better get hip and take a liking to me looking this way. 'Cause it's been years without a memory, just ears and knows your face, just to find out messing up was in your blood. It's the wish I can't remember. Oh, it's the thing you'll never say. And you do it all again, oh, if you could. Yeah, you do it all again, oh, if you could. Yeah, you do it all again, oh, if you could.
So that's a new one.
Yeah, it's in progress.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that.
Sure, of course.
Really appreciate that a great deal.
Thanks.
So, looking forward to a new project, maybe out of the barn.
Yeah, or that's the, that was the right idea. Maybe not just that spot, but that was the, the best part of it was that Woodstock is a very nice and also empty place. There's not a lot, so we rented a big old spooky house and hung out. And every 2 days we'd go buy 10 bottles of wine from the same store and
Clean them out.
You get to know the whole. I ate breakfast at the same place every day, and they're like, "What are you doing here?"
Yeah,
I'm up at the thing. I'm a musician. They're like, "I'm right."
Yeah, nobody in Woodstock's ever seen a musician.
No one's ever
before.
seen any. Yeah, it's so weird. It's like there was a studio like this we did a session in. We were walking in, and it's like, yeah, well, this is Todd Rundgren's old studio, and Bob Dylan's manager, Robert Grossman, is buried in the parking lot. Anyway, over here is this, and I was like, ah. And they're like, no, really, that's his tomb or whatever over there. We buried him in the parking lot of this.
That's the thing that
like,
I've been trying to figure out what we've been missing
So if
all
you
these
really want
years.
to perk this studio up,
We need to
bury
bury somebody
in the parking lot. Yeah, exactly.
If there are any volunteers,
Yep. So
just give me an email.
you never know.
Just give me a shout. Yeah. Shaky Graves playing tonight at Crossroads KC. Of course, Dr. Dog also out there tonight. It's going to be a spectacular night of music, and I'm sure that you'll have copies of And the War Came at the merch table.
We will. Yeah, we got all sorts of weird stuff. We have shirts.
Yeah.
Everybody needs shirts.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks so much for coming in, taking time out of your day.
Of course, it was a real pleasure.
Shaky Graves on the bridge.
Thanks.